My voice is like playing up today, my hair's playing up, don't quite know what's happening. I thought today I would have a little chat about paranormal. Now, some of these stories may not be anything to do with paranormal and can definitely be explained away, but some of them I feel like can't. I don't know. 2 of them are like my stories and 2 of them are my mum's, because I haven't really had any creepy paranormal experiences that I'm like, yeah, that was a ghost. One of my stories could be just a massive coincidence, and the other one is the time I think I had sleep paralysis. So the first story was, I think, around when I was 11, 12, and we were all sat down watching Paranormal Activity, and I was 11, 12, you know, I don't think I was even old enough to be watching these films, but that didn't stop me, did it? I think it was like me, my dad, my mum and my brother Jordan, who's a year below me, and we were all watching it. I was getting freaked out. I hadn't really ever watched any paranormal things like this before. I was just not interested in them and they just freaked me out, but somehow I was convinced to watch this movie, and I was a bit like, do I really want to watch this? I'm probably not going to get to sleep. I was right. We watched the movie, I got freaked out. I don't think it was even like the official Paranormal Activity. I think it was like, I don't know, like a fake. So I just remember for a week or so I stayed with my brother Jordan, who was also watching the film, and I went in his room and I slept in his room for like a week because I was too scared to sleep by myself. Anyway, so I then decided, I think my mum decided actually, she was like, Jade, you can't sleep in here for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to go to your own room, you know? So I was like, oh god, okay, whatever, I'll do it. So went back to my own room. I remember getting to sleep, and I was asleep, and I was in a deep sleep, and I went to sleep with my TV on, and it was like one of those like box grey TVs, and I went to sleep with the light on, but it was like a dimmer light, so it was like red, and you could like, you know, dim it down to like the very low setting, so it was quite low but you could still see. Anyway, I went to sleep, and in the middle of the night I woke up. I did. And I woke up, looked around me, the TV was still on, my light was still on. I was like, okay, I'm fine, like I've gotten to sleep this much, I'm just gonna close my eyes and go back to sleep. So I closed my eyes, and honestly, within like 2 seconds of closing my eyes, like when I woke up for like 5 seconds, and then I was like, I checked everything was still alright, closed my eyes, and within that time I closed my eyes. You know when you close your eyes and there's light and you can see the light still? Yeah, well when I did that, I couldn't see the light of my room anymore. It just was pitch black. I opened my eyes, and let me tell you everyone, it was all pitch black in my room, and my TV was off, my lights were off, and I screamed. I just remember screaming and screaming and screaming, because I was like, what the hell? Like, so my mum came running in, and bear in mind this was like 2 AM in the morning, you know, not a good time really. Mum came storming in, she was like, what's the matter? And I was like, crying, screaming, and it completely freaked my mum out, and she was like, right, let's go downstairs, there might be someone in the house. Why would you think there's someone in the house, Mum? It was a ghost. So we walked downstairs, and when you go down the stairs of, like, this was my old house, when you walk down the stairs there was like a window there, and Mum looked out and she was like, everything's pitch black out there. Usually there's a lamppost and it has the lights on. So basically, turned out it was just a power cut. But the thing I still can't get my head around, and the thing that creeps me out the most, is how and why did I open my eyes 5 seconds before this power cut happened? Like I could have been fast asleep, but no, I had to wake up and had to go through the traumatic experience that I did, and it was just too much. And like I said, that's probably not paranormal at all. Like you know, it's been explained. It was a power cut, but I still wonder how I went to sleep that night, because if it was a power cut, that meant I didn't have any lights in my room. So how did I go back to sleep? Interesting. It was just typical. The first night I stayed in my own room, that happened to me. So the next story is like, I think my sleep paralysis, but this is my story of it. So I was very young again. I think I was like even younger than 11 or 12, I can't remember. And I was very poorly, like really poorly. And Mum put me to bed. I was asleep, I think. This is just what I remember. I was just asleep. Suddenly I woke up and I was hallucinating, and I remember hallucinating and thinking there was a dragon right in front of me. So then Mum came up, because obviously I was crying and I was screaming again probably, and just being dramatic. She came upstairs and she said I literally wouldn't sit up. She said that it was like someone was keeping me down, and I was awake but I just couldn't move. And I remember thinking that my leg had been like broken and I couldn't move my leg. So I literally couldn't move my leg. I was crying. I said my leg hurt, and then eventually I just snapped out of it and I was able to sit up, and Mum pulled me up. It's still quite creepy, but again, really nothing to do with the paranormal. But moving on to the paranormal part of this video. So my mum, she's told me these stories and they're a bit freaky. The first story my mum told me really freaked me out. She said she was walking with a work colleague, and she was walking past this massive house, and she was just kind of minding her own business, taking in this, like the view of this massive house, and she said she saw an old woman standing in this window at the top of the house. So she was a bit like, okay, why is this woman staring at us? Bit weird, but what can you do? So Mum started waving at this woman because she just was non-stop staring at my mum, and this woman waved back. And the work colleague my mum was with was like, who are you waving at? My mum was like, I'm waving at her. Hello. This woman was like, there's literally no one there. And my mum was like, there is literally clearly someone up in that window. Like, she's waving at us. And the woman was like, Gemma, there's literally been no one living in this house for years and years and years. Like, no one wants to live in this house. My mum was like, sorry, what? I don't know how that one can be explained away. The person my mum was with could not see what my mum could see. So, wow. And then the final story, this one is probably the scariest of all of them. So my mum obviously used to live with her mum, and my mum told me that when she was younger, she used to get up in the middle of the night because she couldn't sleep and because she felt uneasy, and she would go and sleep with her sisters in her sister's room. I don't know the complete details of this story. She went to, she opened the door to go outside, to go and sleep in her sister's room, and she told me she couldn't get out. And she tried to get out, but she physically couldn't. And obviously she was sleepy, she'd just woken up, and it was like the middle of the night. So then she tried to get out of this room, but she claimed there was a massive black figure not allowing her to get out of the room. So, bit creepy. She cried and cried and cried, and eventually she pushed her way through and she was able to go out. Now, that to me is one of the creepiest things I've ever heard in my life, because imagine that. She could have just been really sleepy. These things can't completely be explained away, but if that happened to me, bloody hell. Jeez. So even though those aren't the scariest stories in the whole world on the whole of YouTube, or necessarily the most interesting, they still creep me out a bit, and I just thought, if anyone's interested in the paranormal like me, you could help me out, maybe. I'm just going to apologise for my voice because it's just not great, and I'm going to go now because my storytelling is rubbish, so yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for watching anyway, if you did. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're new, if you want. And yeah, I'm going to go now because my voice is hurting. See you later.